All right, welcome back. Today, we are diving into what Stephen Covey calls the highest activity in all of life. We're talking about Habit 6, Synergize. This is where all the other habits we've been talking about really come together. It's the ultimate test of being truly effective with other people.
So let's just jump right in with a question that kind of blows your mind a little bit. What if 1 plus 1 didn't equal 2? What if it could equal 3 or 8 or, 1,600? Now, this isn't some weird math puzzle. This is the core promise of synergy, and it is an absolute game changer.
So what exactly is synergy? Well, the classic definition is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. But I want you to think about it like this. It's not just about good teamwork. It's not about compromise where everyone gives a little something up. No, synergy is about creative cooperation that literally produces brand new alternatives, solutions that did not exist before you and I started talking.
Okay, so how do we actually get there? How do we make that magic happen? Well, the key, as it turns out, is all about communication. Our ability to create these incredible synergistic results depends entirely on the level we're communicating at. It's kind of like a ladder, and the higher you climb, the better the view.
Covey actually breaks this ladder down into 3 main levels. At the very bottom, you've got defensive communication. This is where there's very little trust, so everyone's just protecting their own turf. Here, 1 plus 1 actually equals a half. You lose energy. A step up from that is respectful communication. This is polite, it's mature, but everyone's kind of avoiding the real conflict. This leads to compromise where 1 plus 1 is maybe 1.5. But then you get to the top. This is synergistic communication. This is where trust is high and creativity flows. And this is where 1 plus 1 can equal 3 or 5 or 50.
That all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But what does it actually look like when you're in the middle of a disagreement? Let's walk through a real-world story that perfectly shows how you can break a deadlock by finding what Covey calls the third alternative.
So here's the situation. Imagine a husband has been planning this big family camping and fishing trip for an entire year. The kids are pumped, everything's booked. But his wife wants to use that exact same week to go visit her mom, who's sick and lives hundreds of miles away. Both are important, both are valid, but they seem totally impossible to do at the same time.
And this is the point where the conversation usually just implodes. It devolves into this win-lose battle. She says, "My mother is more important than fishing," and he fires back, "Our family is more important than your mother." They both dig in, they get defensive, and suddenly they're stuck on that bottom rung of the communication ladder, heading straight for a lose-lose result where nobody is happy.
But here is the critical moment, the paradigm shift. To get out of this mess, they have to stop seeing each other as the enemy. They have to mentally move to the same side of the table and realize that they're a team, and the situation is the problem they need to solve together.
And once they make that mental shift, just look at what opens up. Suddenly new ideas start flowing. Hey, what if you took another weekend to go see your mom? Or, and this is the really cool one, what if we found a camping and fishing spot near your mother's house? Think about that. They could have their family trip, she could see her mom, and they could even bring cousins and aunts and uncles into the mix. The solution they come up with is way better than either of their original plans. It's a total transformation of the problem, not just a transaction.
So what is it that makes this possible? What's the engine that drives this whole creative process? It's actually pretty simple, but it's not easy. The real key to synergy is that you have to genuinely value the differences between people. You have to believe that someone else's perspective is valuable precisely because it's not the same as yours.
This really all boils down to humility. Being truly effective means you have to recognize that you don't see the world as it is, you see the world as you are. And when you can accept that your own viewpoint is incomplete, you stop seeing other people's ideas as a threat. Instead, you start to see them as this incredible resource, a way to complete the picture.
Covey tells this great little fable to show what happens when you do the opposite, when you ignore differences. It's called the animal school. And in this school, to make things easier, they decided that all the animals had to take the same 4 subjects: running, climbing, swimming, and flying. Well, the results were a total disaster. The duck, who was an amazing swimmer, nearly failed because he had to spend all his time trying to run. The rabbit had a nervous breakdown from all the swimming lessons. The squirrel, a natural climber, only got a C because the teacher wanted him to fly up the tree from the ground. And the eagle? He was labeled a problem child because he insisted on using his own methods. See? Forcing everyone into the same box just crushed their natural talents.
And this is really the moral of the story.
Sameness is not oneness. Forcing everyone to be uniform doesn't create unity. Real unity, real strength, comes from weaving together different, complementary strengths. It's the differences that make a team, or a family, truly powerful and creative. Okay, so we get the concept, we see the power of it. Now for the most important part, how do we actually start using this in our own lives? Let's break down a few practical steps you can take, like today.
First, go look for different views. The next time you have a problem, don't just ask your friends who agree with you. Go find someone who you know sees the world differently and just listen. Second, and this is a tough one, learn to value irritation. Think about the people who annoy you. Often, that irritation is a sign that they have a different perspective. Could that be a doorway to synergy? Third, always go back to Habit 5. Seek first to understand. Before you defend your position, really, truly listen to the concerns behind theirs. And finally, when you find yourself stuck in a my way or your way debate, force yourself to stop and look for that third alternative. I promise you, it's almost always there if you're willing to look for it.
So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. In your job, in your family, maybe in that one argument that you seem to have over and over again, where is your next third alternative? Just waiting for you to find it. That's the real adventure of synergy.